Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 8th day of October. I know there's a really good baseball game on right now. Last I checked, the Brewers and the Cubs are playing, and it was the top of the what was the score here? I want to say it was the top of the eighth. Yeah, 4-3. Cubs barely hanging in there. They need it. They're down 0-2. Brewers is a very good team this year, you know. And but hey, got a great show with you for the night. Going to talk a little bit about that. That Titans Arizona game fallout going out a few days here with Jonathan Gannon hitting the player there out of frustration. I know a lot of you haven't seen it. A lot of you may not have would paying attention. He was fined $100,000 by the league for that. And I'll talk a little bit about the Titans as well. Arch Manning, man, is he starting to get some criticisms that he loses to Florida. Got a big game playing Oklahoma this weekend. That's going to be an interesting game to talk about. We'll talk about that one in a full, complete game and pick them tomorrow with the Mad New Yorker and with the Red River rivalry game. I'm going to talk about that. Bill Belichick, folks. Man, it's not looking good. He got blown out again this past week by Clemson. Now it looks like some undercurrents there. It looks like it's just not working out. Just maybe a matter of time. There was a report about him possibly accepting a buyout if one came about. I'll touch on that as well. But the big theme for this show would be Jason Patterson from Pig Trail Nation, one of my favorite guests here. Going to come in, talk about Kansas City Monday night. Kansas City drops another game there. I talked a little bit about it yesterday. Going to get his thoughts. Man, they had a lot of penalties in that game. Going back. And also, Bobby Petrino, this will be his second stint. Yes, I said it right. As a head coach, he's the interim head coach now for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They'll be playing University of Tennessee this weekend. Get his thoughts on that. Their coaching search. Can he coach his way into a head coaching job? Get a lot of that and more from Jason Patterson. So he'll be on about 30 minutes past the hour. Let's take our first and only break. I'll be back here momentarily. We'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live. Let me take that off there. I don't know why I even put it on it. National streaming, folks, that just it's not working. It's streaming on there, and I'm not going to fool with it, trying to stream something that's not going to work. Okay, now let's go. This is an interesting game. I went to get to this yesterday, just didn't get enough time. There was so much going on here. But this Tennessee-Arizona game, by the way, I was just reading during the break. Fox Sports reporter puts out top coaches on the hot seat. It was a funny thing. This is from Fox Sports NFL writer Ralph Facciano. I don't know who that is. It might as well be Ralph Macchio, right? The Karate Kid. Says Brian Callahan's the number one guy that's on the hot seat as far as head coaching. And he's got number 7 as Jonathan Gannon. And ironically, those are the two guys that played on Sunday in the in that wild game here So just a quick recap of that. I mean, Titans down 21-6. Was being Arizona dominating this game going into the fourth quarter, folks. Mind you, that was going into the fourth quarter when basically they were in cruise control. Third string running back. Yeah, Benson was out. I don't know what would happen with him. Benson. Of course, Connor is out for the season. James Conner, their starting running back. But this guy breaks a 72-yard touchdown run, does a Deshaun Jackson type of move. Back for some of you older listeners, back to 2007 on Sunday Night Football, I want to say, where he flips the ball at the 1 yard line and the ball goes out of bounds. But this guy just throws the ball, just kind of rolls it through the end zone just before he hits. And there was some momentum, but basically he let up a little too soon. My motto would be on something like that. If I'm coaching anybody, you have to be. And listen, I want you to celebrate. Don't go too far. Do it within the rules. Every yard counts in these games. But about 3 steps in the end zone, then you do all the dancing you want. Don't get excessive with it, but do it in your head. 1, 2, 3, celebrate. But you have to be 3 steps in the end zone. Other words, your full body, the ball, everything in. It's kind of like an old 70s song from a great band called Leonard Skinner. Give me 3 steps. Give them 3 steps in, okay? 3 steps towards the goal line, inside the end zone. Once you're 3 steps inside the end zone, then you're going to be okay. Stupid thing keeps coming up, this reboot. Sorry about that. Something's coming on my screen here. Okay. So anyways, this guy's name is Emery DeMercado. He's might have been undrafted guy. He's a rookie a player out of TCU. Like I said, 72-yard run. Never scored a touchdown before. And of course, that one goes through the end zone and a touchback. Tennessee gets the ball back. This is fourth quarter, I'm telling you. So they get the ball back after this touchback and go all the way down and cut it from 21-6, 21-12. Tennessee missed the 2-point conversion. So you still look like you're cruising, okay? So they get another stop. Arizona gets a little conservative there. Very typical of Arizona. Happened a few weeks ago when I was texting back and forth with anyways, with a friend of mine, and I was telling them that they could come back because we had the over in this game. I said, because Arizona is known to give up leads. We saw the game where it was they had a big lead. I want to say a 3-score lead against Carolina, and Carolina come up short, but they had like 2 minutes to go, and it was inside a touchdown. They could have won it. They could have won it there. So they have a tendency to kind of sleep on leads there, you know. And, of course, they didn't on that game. Quick 3 and out. Tennessee gets the ball back, drives the length of the field. Long catch here inside, I want to say about the 28, going in towards closer to the red zone, not quite going to score yet. Calvin Ridley fumbles. The ball's rolling. This is such a bloopers-like drill. And ultimately, one of the Titans falls on the ball in the end zone. So the Titans score again, making it 21-18. They get the 2-point conversion. Now you're no, they missed the 2-point. Let's see. Somehow, no, they kicked the 1 then. They kicked the 1, and it makes it 19, right? It makes it 19, and of course, they get another stop, and ultimately, I mean, this game should have been 28-6. It would have been a 22-point game. It would have been 28-6 essentially, or worst case scenario, 27-6. This guy just takes a half a yard and finishes out that thing and doesn't fumble like that on the 1 yard line. Trying to dance and celebrate. So eager to dance and celebrate and celebrate And Jonathan Gannon, like I mentioned at the beginning of the program, he is going ballistic because they have blown a lot of games. Listen, they should be Arizona Cardinals 5-0. Okay? They blew. I felt like they out. If you watch that game, I felt like they probably outplayed the 49ers. They should have won that game. They had Seattle at home on a Thursday night. That usually favors heavily the home team. They should have won that game. That was off that loss. In this game, they had a crazy lead and should have won this game. So, and of course, like I mentioned before, they almost blew the big lead to Carolina. And the other game was against, obviously, probably one of the other worst teams in the league, which is New Orleans Saints. But watch, this guy goes crazy and actually, going back to Jonathan Gannon, actually hits this player, this running back that I just mentioned here, this third string running back. And he says he regrets it watching it afterwards. He got a little too caught up into the moment. If I can find the actual cut. Here it is.
I woke up this morning and didn't feel great about it, honestly. And so in the team meeting, I addressed it. I apologized to Omari, apologized to the team. And I just told him I kind of let the moment of what happened get the better of me there. Obviously, like I try to be emotionally stable and calm because my job is to solve problems when during a game. So it's not really who I am, who I want to be, and I told the guys that today. So it's a mistake by me, and it's just like everybody in there. Everybody made some type of mistake yesterday, which is, culminates to why we didn't win the game, and we can't let it happen moving forward.
Yeah, Woody Hayes was actually fired and never. This was a coach for the college game back in the 70s. I want to say 78 against Clemson, if I'm not mistaken. Actually punched a player. I mean, he hit this guy, looked like it in the stomach area there. He's way out of line there. $100,000 fine. Jeff Saturday says you just don't hit players. You cannot do that. In this day and age, he got way too ahead of himself. Des Bryant. Ironically, Des Bryant says these guys are too soft. He had no issue with it. The former Cowboy, I was surprised. He said that on the X Out today. A little bit surprised by that. But I'm with Jeff Saturday. You absolutely cannot do that. You don't. And also, you spoke like he said himself, in his words, Jonathan Gannon, you cannot be a Bill O'Brien type of guy, the former coach there of the Houston Texans, cussing at the fans. He had to have one of the players hold him back. He's about cursing at the fans, acting like he's about to get into a physical altercation with the fans one time when he was taking on double duties as a general manager and head coach here. And ultimately, that was his ultimate demise here, got him fired, per se. Same thing, I want to say, a little bit back and forth there, kind of like the Nick Sirianni there with the Philadelphia Eagles, although not as bad as O'Brien. And, of course, ironically, an owner got fined a ton of money, too. I want to say a big chunk of money. Jerry Jones, I want to say 100, 200,000, something like that, for flipping off one of the Jets fans. Jerry's getting a little senile there as well. That also happened this weekend. But from what he did, I mean, hitting a player like that, he's way out of line there. And as far as, like I said, Arizona's going, now I'm reading that Kyler Murray's already hurt or he's got a foot injury. They don't know if he's even going to play next week. Like I said, Jonathan Gannon, number 7th on this Fox Sports, and I would agree, hot seat list, but also Kyler Murray, you're going to be limited. You're always going to have that injury with him because he has to overcompensate so much of his lack of height to get through games and ultimately get through a season. God bless the man, 5'9", 5'10", to get a second NFL starting quarterback contract in the NFL for $100+ million. God bless the young man for that, being the number 1 pick overall. But as far as the Titans are concerned, the number one guy on this list, and in my opinion, would be Bill O'Brien, obviously, as well, on the hot seat. That being said, like the late, great, or Richard Petty would say, I think he's still living. Trying to bury the guy already. Famous race car driver, won over 200 races, I want to say. Said, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. Tennessee, that is the luckiest win that I've ever seen them be a part of. Been watching them since they became the Titans back in 1999. But you play hard, good things happen. You know, watch the Titan player hustling all the way to the ball. Maybe that triggered the guy to celebrate a little too early. A few big throws by Cam Ward in that game, ultimately setting up the game-winning field goal. Plus, they got the Raiders this week. Maybe this is what the spark that this team needs. I don't put a lot of stock in that win. They still may win 3-4 games and get the number one overall pick for all I'm concerned. They had to do more than that. I mean, it's a start, yes. Sometimes you need a lucky break. I could see the swagger already of a Houston shutting Tennessee out one week, even though they played a decimated Baltimore team this past Sunday and blew them out. Hey, sometimes you need a break, and they've got 2 breaks in a row there. Maybe this is a break for Tennessee. Of course, they're playing a Raider team that got blown out last week. They're playing a ticked-off Raider team. That'll be a good game for bottom feeders. Who's going to get off the schneid first? Is it going to be the Tennessee or the Raiders? Of course, Tennessee, this is their second road game on the West Coast. When I did the preseason, I had them at 6-11. Now that feels generous. Had them losing that Raider game because I knew they had to play these 2 games. They flew back to Nashville, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe they stayed out on the West Coast. Possibly. If he's smart, I would have. But either way, it's a 2-week road trip. I'm not sure they're going to win that game at Vegas, but it'll be an interesting game to watch. I'll be watching it come Sunday when I watch the rest of Red Zone. But we shall see. We'll have to let this thing play itself out. Okay, before I run out of time here, talk a little college football. Listen, Arch Manning, you can just read it all over the place. I read it on the X app, internet, whatever, articles and whatnot. Listen to other sports talk shows, some of the national stories. Reports are, it looks like some scouts say, it looks like that Arch Manning, Texas loses at the Swamp to the University of Florida. Everything this guy does is going to be magnified because of the big name. The nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning, and of course, grandson of former NFL player Arch Manning. Arch Manning, rough game. Watched the whole game against Florida. Looks like, and I do agree with that one analyst said, with the fact that I want to say some guy on a Colin Cowherd show said that. Looks like he's not seeing the field. My thing is, he looks like he's going through kind of like what Nico was going through with Tennessee, the University of Tennessee quarterback, ultimately transferred to UCLA, but he's slow going through his processes, And I put out here on social media, didn't even backtrack it, just put it out there. How many Mannings have actually beat Florida? How many wins does the Manning family have against University of Florida? Well, I actually looked it up. I say that because they're very fast. You cannot underestimate a team like that. Late September, early October, down there in Gainesville. They seem like they're used to those elements. They train all year round. They climb it. They're very much used to it. They're just a step faster, even though he's played with some of the faster players in the NFL. Xavier Worthy, those are receivers, but we're talking about linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks, where it looks like the hole is the player's open, and there's a little bit of hesitation. You throw that. The guy, he had 2 interceptions in this game, but also he looked indecisive, not making his reads fast enough. He looked a lot like Uncle Peyton. So I asked that question at the very beginning here. How many games has the Peyton? Because I knew Peyton was 0-4. I watched Uncle Peyton get humiliated as a teenager through all those Tennessee years by the University of Florida, and Tennessee often would be ranked higher than Florida going into those games, you know. But the answer to that is Peyton 0-4, Granddaddy Arch 0-2, going back from 68 to 70, 2 losses. But ironically, Mr. 2-0 against New England in the Super Bowl, Eli Manning, of all people, at Ole Miss, he won 2 games. If you recall, Eli came in 2000. Me and him is about the same age. He came in at 2000 and played 4 years at Ole Miss. That's when Spurrier left. They were between Spurrier and Urban Meyer, and he won 2. So you do the math on that. Peyton's 0-4. Okay, that's 4 games. Arch is 0-2. That's 6 games. 2-0 Eli and 1. So they're 2-8, 2-7. I want to say 2-7 as a family against. Did I even do that math right? Either way, they don't have a good record against Florida. That's just a really interesting stat there. But if you look at his overall numbers, and Steve Sarkisian, he was right. I mean, and I said this at the very beginning. I knew this was going to be like this when he came into this season, but I also said this, and I still stand firm. And now I feel vindicated that verified, or whatever you want to say, that he should just play 2 years no matter what happens this year. There's too many players in the NFL. There's too much data. Mitch Trubisky, look at this. Anthony Richardson got beat out and benched, and it turned out to be look how good the Colts are playing. Anthony Richardson, 1 full year at Florida, okay? 1 full year at Florida, and he goes, number 4 to the Colts. The guys are a few years ago. Now he's already out of a job here, beat out by a guy that's been passed over in the NFL, Daniel Jones here, per se. Same thing, Mitch Trubisky, former number 2 overall pick, 1 year at North Carolina. He was passed. Guys like Patrick Mahomes was passed over, and they took him. That's two recent players compared to a guy like a Jaden Daniels, played 4 years, and look how well he's playing. You want a guy at least 2 full years of starting minimum, okay? Minimum. And that's what. And by the way, like I said, that's what Uncle Eli and Uncle Peyton, both of them played 4 years. Both of them played 4 years in college. So I do think that he'll come back. He has to come back. His stock is going to be way down. I mean, he was 16 for 29, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 70.5. Yeah, I mean, that was in that game. Now, as a season, 60% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's not terrible. Now, what if he comes out here and he beats Oklahoma? He could beat Oklahoma Saturday in the Red River rivalry game. Who's to say he can't? The Oklahoma player, their quarterback, is coming back from a hand injury. They don't have the most world beater type of schemer there at offensive coordinator in Oklahoma. Their head coach is Brett Venables, who I thought would be out of a job by now. But kudos to him, they have not lost. There's more pressure on Oklahoma to win this game than it is Texas. The narrative's already out on Texas now. That this guy, that Eli, I will say he was overrated, but I'm not going to go as far as calling Eli Manning a bust. I think he's still got to learn at this level. I think he's lived off this luxurious name. And like Steve Spurrier said last year, and everybody thinks it's Spurrier just jabbing at the Manning family because he recruited Eli. He recruited Peyton. He recruited Peyton hard. Peyton would have broke all kinds of NCAA records if he played at Florida with their system. Peyton I don't know. I mean, he just wanted to go to Tennessee. The Vols did a better job recruiting the guy. He could have went anywhere in the country, Peyton Manning. But Steve Spurrier said last year, listen, the guy's been 2 years in the system. I don't think there's fear of offending the Peyton of losing Quinn Ewers. He says, I think Quinn Ewers is just flat out beat out Arch Manning, and nobody from the coaching staff is letting it out. Let's fast forward until now. Yeah, he was right. He was right. Arch simply wasn't ready. Now, if you go back and look at Arch Manning's high school tape, he's throwing BBs out there. They were talking about this guy in 7th grade, perfect form, everything. But a lot of that, because of that name, that's like that thoroughbred. I mean, you got 2 uncles that won multiple Super Bowls. Okay? Likely Hall of Fame. Peyton's a lock. But very likely Eli's going to get in the Hall of Fame too. Okay? And you had the granddad. I mean, it's just a perfect storm there. And he got all the NIL money. He's a better athlete than these guys. Everybody thought this was going to be an all-world thing. He's a little bit off of what I thought he would be, and I've been pretty consistent. I thought he'd be a little bit better than this, but I just didn't see him coming in, judging by what had happened last year with them going with Quinn Ewers, judging by what I've seen and the fact that he hadn't really played anybody in the games he did start. His opening game this year was against Ohio State. Now we're realizing Ohio State's got one of the best defenses in the country, and I've always said Florida's defense is underrated. Although they've had a rough year, their issue was offense and Lagway and mistakes. Of course, Lagway came in out of shape. He looks to be in shape now. Nobody wants to play Florida right now, you know. So, anyways, staying in the college game, I also ran across this on the web here on Awful announcing that Bill Belichick, of course, you know, he lost, blown out again to Clemson. There's multiple reports, multiple different sites. Parents aren't happy with Bill Belichick. The players, the players, obviously the talent is well underwhelming, to say the least there. But Bill Belichick, according to Awful announcing, will be willing to accept the buyout if another coaching or media opportunity exists. I just mentioned the fact that there's a possibility that the Miami job could be open. The Tennessee job, what a Miami job, I've been mentioning that for weeks, but Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat, one-win team. Brian Callahan here in Nashville. Belichick would have to tell me what he wants as offensive coordinator before I bring him with the young quarterback. I don't know if I would hire Bill Belichick. As much as I like Belichick, I don't know if I would hire Bill Belichick right now, the coach of Titans. But either way, basically he's saying if the right shot comes on, he'll walk out of that job and negotiate a good buyout to go to North Carolina, and that's unfortunate. But I'm not going to leave my guests waiting too long. Looking forward to bringing my man on here and talking some more college, but I also want to get his take on the Kansas City Chiefs from Pig Trail Nation. I hope he's still with them. It looks like it, and he's shaking his head. Yes, the great Jason Pat. Hey, buddy, how you doing tonight, man?
Great, Robert. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I've been following these baseball games and, you know, watching a lot of, you know, October's the busiest sports month of the year. I wish I could spread it out a little bit more, brother, to be honest with you.
I mean, I could take October and spread. I mean, hey, let's spread it out 12 months. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's just do it all 12 months. I mean, for a
that's
person,
heaven for us, right?
It really is. You know, for a person that really immerses themselves into sports, this is their month, because you've got NBA that's starting up here. Well, actually just started up. Did you see that Wemby's grown 2 inches over the summer?
Yeah. Hey, you know something? I was watching him work out with Akeem Olajuwon. Mm-hmm. He could be a force to be reckoned with this year, man. Yeah.
He's cleared medically. They're going to just bring him in slowly. There's a possibility that, Dylan Harper might be the third straight Spur to be Rookie of the Year.
Oh my
And that could
God.
be crazy.
I know if they get it together, they can go on a red hot streak here. They could be a force to be reckoned with. They would be a heck of that could be a rival between them and OKC here in the near future. OKC's got a great general manager up there. I love Sam Presti. Obviously, they're a champion. But I've been tooting this guy's horn for 10 years. Now he's finally making me look good, brother. Hey, I want to ask you, though, about Monday night, man.
Yeah.
Are you surprised about all those penalties? They got over 100 yards in penalties. What happened with the Chiefs, man, Monday night?
It's more of a discipline thing, and I really feel like this year. Okay, last year it was more of a piece by piece game. We're going to piecemeal this thing together. We're going to find a way to get within a score late in the fourth quarter. Let Patrick do his thing, and it really kind of worked out for the Chiefs last year for the most part. This year, you had. Rashee Rice is going to be coming off a suspension here pretty soon. I really feel like the defense was really pressing themselves last week against Jacksonville, Monday night. And whenever you have a good team that's starting to feel the pressure a little bit, that's where either, pipes burst or make diamonds. And right now we're starting to see some pipes burst with that defense with Kansas City, because Kansas City is really a litmus test for a lot of teams in the league. And whenever you have your quarterback get stepped on by the guard, fall flat on his back, get back up, and then run it 3 yards into the end zone for the final score, those sorts of things don't usually happen to a Kansas City defense. I know Spags has got to be losing his mind right now. The linebackers with Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill, they haven't been as good as they have been in the last couple of years. And the defensive secondary, you're starting to see a little bit of chips here and there that you didn't see the last couple of years. And, between trades and guys getting into free agency, Kansas City not dipping into free agency and kind of saying, hey, we're going to just retain who we have, go through the draft and save money that way. I really feel like kind of stunted their start of the season so far. And I think that's where you're kind of seeing some of these problems.
Yeah, their defense is just not the same. I mean, it goes back to week one. What was that, like a third? And I want to say it was you could. I'm sure you remember this. The key third down, Justin Herbert, late in the fourth quarter. Man, that's like 3rd and 18 or something.
I remember
like that. He runs. I mean, where's the defense at? I mean, he had a hole you could drive a truck through over there.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that whenever you have a mobile quarterback like Justin Herbert, Spags is going to run a spy on him. But the thing is that, Herbert was able to kind of outmaneuver him a little bit. Yeah. And once he did, it was open grass from there. And that was what sealed that victory.
Play. Didn't you think it was over after that play?
Yeah, it was over. Once that happened, they were able to basically clock it from there on out. And that was it. But the thing is that whenever you have a game on the road in Sao Paulo, it really is, it could go really one way or the other. There's not really much of a gray area there. It's either a black or a white area. And the reason why I say that is because when you have to start your season on the road, out of the country, against a divisional opponent, that's tough. Don't get me wrong. It's fun, but it's super tough because now you don't have a couple of weeks where you have, a game against the Bengals or a game against the Cowboys or the Giants or whoever, or the Jaguars, to kind of work out some of those things. That was right from the jump that you have to have everything right. And don't get me wrong, Andy Reid and that staff do a great job of getting those guys prepared week in and week out. But when it's divisional, it's just a different animal.
Yeah, it is, man. It really is. Are you surprised by how blatant that pass interference? I mean, I think that this pretty much cost them the game. You know what I'm talking about? The one that put him on the one.
Yeah, because he was face guarding him. In the back left-hand corner of the end zone. He was face guarding, and I don't understand why. At least make an attempt to get your head around. To make it, at least try to sell it. And he didn't even sell it. That was the problem. And that's why I was sitting there, I was just shaking my head. I was sitting there with my girlfriend. Shout out to Casey. And
hey, man, happy late belated birthday, by the way, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a great birthday. And, I was sitting there and watching that, and I just looked at her. I said,
"It's over.
This is it."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had some, internal optimism because there was 23 seconds left on the clock after Trevor Lawrence scored. But the thing is that I don't know if this offensive line is as good as it has been the last couple of years, because you've got a lot of young parts up there. And I'm going to tell you what, if I see another holding call on a offensive lineman from Kansas City, I think my head's going to explode, because it seems like that's been a constant the last year and a half.
It is, man. Yeah. It's what do you think's going to happen Sunday? I mean, they got to play Detroit.
Jared Goff's going to probably throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Man, yeah, they seem like a wounded animal. I have to look at I don't know who I'm going to pick in that game.
I mean, I'm going to have to say Detroit. They have the run game. They have the run game. That two-headed monster with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Yeah.
That's really tough to go against, because it's a huge 1-2 punch. I mean, David Montgomery had a touchdown pass this last week.
He sure did. Yeah.
Who the hell had that on their bingo card? I know I didn't.
Man, average margin of wins. Now, they've caught some breaks. They played some banged-up teams, 25 points. And last I checked, Kansas City's still favored. It's in Arrowhead. But I don't know. That could change come Sunday.
Yeah, it just depends on where the bettors go on the betting line on that one.
Yeah.
But that Jared Goff is going to bring it.
Yeah.
And that Detroit defense has got something to prove. And like I said earlier, with Kansas City being a litmus test for a lot of teams in the league, this is one of those teams that do compare themselves, because Kansas City has been to the mountaintop. Detroit's trying to get there. Right. And they're really close to getting there. And I really feel like this might be their year.
Yeah, I got them in my Power 5 as a number 1 team. It's as of right now, because I'm looking at that balance on the defensive side. Yeah. Looks like they got a little better defensively. I was never a really big Aaron Glenn guy from the get-go. I know they have an injury with Arnold there.
Mm-hmm.
That may help Kansas City. They may be able to the Chiefs may be able to exploit that, being down a corner. But linebacker, defensive line, offensive line, ability to run the ball. I mean, red hot, tight.
You kind of thought that Kansas City was kind of back, and then all of a sudden they take a trip down to Jacksonville and it goes out the which way?
It was up 14-0. I had a few dollars on that game. To be honest with you, I thought Kansas City -2 alternated the spread. And I thought, okay, it's just like they can't hold leads like they – you're right. There's something's up with that defense. I think it's the corners. And Chris Jones is no spring chicken. He didn't look like he was really hustling on that last play anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a loaf going on there. Not going to lie.
Yeah. He's resting on those laurels. That'll get pointed out in the film room. That's what makes me think maybe – and plus those 50-50 calls – they may go back the other way, and the Chiefs haters are going to get their thorns out online. Let me see. Let me ask you this. Man, what's your thoughts about Joe Flacco being traded, man?
And, I got some thoughts on that one. I got some thoughts, because you know what happens, don't you?
What's that?
This paves the way for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you
think
it's going to – they're talking around it like, no, we don't know yet if we're going to pick in the number 2 quarterback. I'm like, get out of here.
That's horse shit.
Yeah.
just going to plain and simple it. This is Dylan Gabriel's coming out party. This is his test to say, hey, we're going to give you the keys to this porous offense, because let's face it, there's some teams in the NFL that we've talked about this before, where they're willing to spend money on a couple of pieces on the defense that they already know they have a really great defense with, and will save money on the offense, banking that the defense is going to carry them through. That is the Cleveland Browns this year. They got Joe Flacco at a great price. Now they've traded him off. Then you draft 2 quarterbacks, one in the third, one in the fifth round,
Right.
and you're giving your third rounder and Dylan Gabriel, giving him his due. Let him get out there and see what happens. If he falls flat on his face, then it's Shedeur Sanders' game. It really is. And it's really set up for him to be the starting quarterback next year.
Yeah. Well, this year at some point, I think he'll probably start in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know when their bye falls, but my guess is I think that's what they'll do. It sounds like, now I may be overthinking it, but it sounds like that Stefanski really don't want to do this, but the owner's saying, you're going to do this. All right, you can tell the media everything you want to tell them because they're moving Shedeur around on the scout team and all that crap. And
have you seen the movie Draft Day?
Yeah.
This is, I mean, and it's with the Cleveland freaking Browns. I mean, this is exactly what this feels like.
Soap opera, brother. That's what makes a show really like ours great.
Well, it gives us something to talk about. That's for sure.
Yeah, like that song, give them something to talk about. I had a feeling this was going to play out almost verbatim the way it has, other than maybe a miraculous recovery by Deshaun Watson, which he's still on IR.
Yeah, I think that he might be burnt toast at this point. I don't think that he is going to be another starting quarterback. I don't think he's going to get another starting job. He might be a backup over the next few years at best, depending on if he is able to recover. I mean, he's gotten past most of his legal troubles, if not all of them. And the Browns essentially paid these people off, these ladies off for him to start, only for him to get hurt and then be on the shelf.
I got a theory about him. I'll admit it, I took a big hit by this, but I thought it was a great move at the time. Even with all those allegations and lawsuits, I just thought, okay, Mr. Haslam, the owner's taking a big swing here. I commend him. He's trying to win big. But I thought, my theory is that Watson, once he looked at the public backlash he got from all that, and he looked at all that money, I think he mentally checked out. He has not grown as a quarterback since the day he's still at that same level. It's like he never really worked with Stefanski in that offense. And of course, we know he just stayed the same. He didn't want to compete and be better than Flacco. And they got a pretty good roster there for a few. They went to the playoffs with Baker Mayfield, you know?
This is
what do you think about that there? He just kind of checked out, you know?
Somewhat. This is what I really believe is that he saw the amount of money that he was going to have to pay out for all of these legal troubles that he was having, that he caused. And once Cleveland gave him that blank check to get out from underneath it, he was fine. Personally, he was at rest, and he thought, okay, I don't have to mess with this anymore. Maybe I should just ride off into the sunset, shut up, play my role, make a few bucks here and there, do enough to retire, and get out of this thing. I really feel that that's what he did.
So he lost his desire to want to win and be competitive. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but I give the Browns an A for effort. With that, you can't call him cheap. You can call the Bengals owner cheap and look at their situation, but you can't call
the whole organization is cheap, man.
Man,
it's awful.
They're like the cheap. They're beyond Walmart.
Man, they make the Titans look bougie.
Hey, that's true, brother. That's true. Man, I've been dying to ask you. This is the main reason I brought you on, brother.
Yeah.
All right, can you believe? Did you tell yourself you cover Arkansas 2 years ago? If I'd have said, you know what, Bobby Petrino is going to be the interim coach, he might be able to be the head coach back at Arkansas after all that happened, even though it was under a different AD. What would you have said? But man, you crazy, man.
No effing way. When I saw when Pete Thamel broke this a year or so, a little over a year ago,
to bring him in as the OC.
To bring him in as the OC, I thought, I'm going to tell you what, there's been some money thrown around and there have been some minds changed on that board of trustees, because that's exactly how high that hire had to go up, because this was not, I mean, it was Sam's idea, but it was not a thing where Hunter Yurachek or Chancellor Robinson, the president of the school, could come in and say, okay, no, that's fine. No. This had to go through the Board of Regents.
Yeah.
This had to be okayed by the power players because of what that meant to this state when he left and the way he left and the story that came out afterwards for him to come back and try to have some redemption. He always said that he wanted to make everything right with the state of Arkansas because of how everything went down. And so when you have somebody like Bobby Petrino come back now, this isn't the first time that this has happened with him because just a couple of years ago, if everybody can remember, it happened over at Louisville. He was the coach again. His second stint. This is his second stint. Right. If he is going to be retained as head coach at Arkansas, the minimum he has got to win out the rest of the season is going to be 4 games. He has got to go 4-2. And if that happens, or 4-1, I do believe. No, it's 4 and hold on. Give me just a second here.
Looking up the schedule now.
It's 4-3. He'd have to be 4-3 because they play 5 games.
That'll put him in a bowl game, essentially.
That'll put him in a bowl game. That'll put him at 6-6. That might save him. But here's the thing. You've got Tennessee on the road, but here's the thing. Tennessee's defense is porous. They're they're ranked dead ass last in the league.
Yeah.
Arkansas has won 4 games. They've won the last 4 games against Tennessee. The last time they won in Knoxville was back. Yeah, exactly.
And Tennessee, we're looking at Tennessee's saying they better win this game by double digits at home. They play really well at home.
Yeah.
And if they lose this Arkansas game, that would just, golly.
And Tennessee is the 11.5-point favorite. Last time Arkansas won in Knoxville was 2015. And so, and that was during Brett Bielema's era. But, you've got, look at Michael Washington for just a second, running back for Arkansas. He was out, and they had today, I think, was the players, and he said he knows Tennessee's got some holes. He said he knows that Tennessee's coming, with the defense because I feel like that after the Georgia loss in overtime at home a couple of weeks ago really put them behind the 8 ball a little bit. And don't get me wrong, Joey Aguilar is a great quarterback.
An upgrade over Nico, ain't he?
Dude, anybody's an upgrade over Nico.
That's all I'm saying. He had a great game last week, but that may have been a fluke. I don't know.
Dude, a squirrel finds a nut everywhere. That's all I got to say about that.
That's true.
But
that's true.
I think that with what can Bobby do with the defense is going to be the biggest question because Arkansas is also 12th in the SEC in defense. So there's a possibility that the first one to 60 will score this or to win this week. I really believe
could be a high scoring game this week. If they're both teams coming off a bye week, Tennessee don't really know what to look for from Petrino. They could upset Tennessee. Tennessee's a little shaky, man. If this were played in Arkansas, I'd really lean Arkansas. But here in Knoxville, or there in Knoxville, I'm in Nashville.
Well, think about it for a second. Last year, Arkansas won with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
With Malachi Singleton, where the Tennessee defense literally let him run into the end zone scot-free for Arkansas to take the lead. Who the hell does that?
Yeah. My issue with them is, and I picked Georgia. One of my guests picked Tennessee. Tennessee did play a lot better than I thought. They should have won the game, kicked the field goal. That kid had a deer in headlight look in his eye when he missed it, per se. But my thing is, Tennessee's got to get bigger in the middle. That's how Ole Miss beat Georgia last year. They got pushed in the middle defensively. One of those guys is playing in the NFL right now. One of those tackles. They need like a John Henderson or a former Albert Hainsworth.
Those guys were so good.
I love. Yeah. They went down to Florida and beat Florida one year with the play of those two guys, even though it was still a wild shootout, man. Do you think that the criticisms of Arch Manning are a little over the top, or do you think that this rightfully so that he's just a bust? What's your thoughts on the play of Arch Manning? It's been a big buzz here. They lost to Florida this past week.
I don't want to say he's a bust because he's still a young guy. He's still in an offense that he's trying to learn. And the last time I checked, whenever you have a quarterback, regardless of age,
Yeah.
when it's their show and he is 5 games into the season, next year is going to be a year that you can start to say those things.
Yeah.
This year is one of those times where you say, okay, he's still getting up to speed with the SEC defenses. He's still trying to read
So we're on the same
blitzes.
page, man. Yeah.
Yeah. He's still learning. And that's okay. I do believe that there probably needs to be some functional work done on his mechanics.
Yes.
For instance, because I mean, I hate to really say this, but there have been a lot, and I mean a lot of comparisons to Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. It really has. And you look at it, and every time you see
he looks
Arch
slow-footed out there, and he's got that look in his face like the pole. Yes, he does. He does, man.
It's his delivery, and it looks like Uncle Rico's
like
a little
Peyton
bit.
Manning, if you ask me, he looked like Peyton against Florida, who was 0-4.
Yeah.
Again, by the way, Peyton never beat Florida
Ever. Nope.
Granddaddy never beat Florida. I looked this up before we got on the program. Eli, of all people, Mr. beat the Patriots twice. He beat Florida twice. But we're talking like 2-7 or something out of 9 trips. The Manning family having bad luck against Florida.
I mean, and so I don't know if it's a generational thing or not, but whenever you go down to the swamp, regardless of who is trying to run that ship, and I'm going to tell you what, the only person, or let me rephrase this, there's only 2 people that I know of in history that have been able to navigate around the Grim Reaper more than Billy Napier, and that's Evel Knievel and David Copperfield.
That's another dude. I mean, he's just 1 week. I mean, just it's week by week, and
we've like this with him all over. I mean, it's up and then it's down. And it's like there needs to be some calm, steady, and there is nothing like that with him.
Yeah, I don't think nothing. Do you think he'll survive?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
They've already lost to South Florida, and they lost to Miami. I don't know if they
LSU.
LSU. I mean, that's 3 losses. I think they could probably beat Tennessee down there. Honestly.
Yeah, there's a possibility. I mean, because they beat Texas 1 week, and they'll probably lose by 30 to Mississippi State the next week, and then go to the cocktail and beat Georgia. And it's like,
wow,
how in the hell can you sit there?
Stockton makes them vulnerable, Georgia. You know,
yeah, they do. I mean, I could definitely see that being a scenario playing out. So, with this, I want to go back to the Red River rivalry for just a second.
That's okay, brother. It's a great game.
3 weeks ago, you would have told me that this was the hottest ticket coming into the second Saturday in October. I would have paid $1,000 a ticket because you got John Mateer and you've got Arch Manning going against each other that at the time looked like 2 top-notch quarterbacks going against each other. And now it looks like a turd fest out there. John Mateer, I don't know if he's going to play or not. I know that he's
coming back from that. I read he's going to play, but he's got that hand injury. But what if they win that game, and then they're back in it? They're back in it supposedly. The 2 losses. That's a big win though. It's over an undefeated team.
It is, but it
changes the narrative a little bit.
There are so many teams at the top right now, and I've been a little critical of Ole Miss and also Texas A&M because the last time I checked, the last few years that they started to ascend into October, their ascension was just as fast as their downfall. Because
that's what I'm thinking.
Ole Miss has a hard time getting out of October. A&M has a hard time getting out of November, and now you've got Ole Miss that has a really tough schedule. You've got A&M that the end of their schedule looks really tough as well. But now you have OU and Texas. OU can make a statement, but I really think that this is going to be a defensive battle. Both of those teams, Oklahoma first, Texas second in defense in the league. And when you have those types of games, this is going to be a 10-6, 10-7, 13-10 type of game.
I couldn't tell you who's going to win it. I have to study that game. I really couldn't. I mean, maybe I'll lean Oklahoma, but
If Michael
That
Hawkins
Gator's
goes,
good.
it'll be a bad day for Oklahoma. I really believe so. You've got to have John Mateer, if anything, go out there and pose somewhat of a threat. Because if not, that Texas defense is going to eat Hawkins up again for a second straight year.
Man, that would be huge for them. Let me ask you this, and I sent you something on Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
You're close to the same age, late 30s, early 40s. Mark Sanchez, 38 years old,
Butt fumble. Anyway,
3 kids, married, and this incident happened on a Friday night with supposedly, and he was running wind sprints in the parking lot of a like an alley, and supposedly drunk, according to he's arrested for public intox, arguing with a delivery truck driver over saying he can't park there. Does this sound like a drunken behavior of a guy that age? That sounds like frat boy drunk crazy. Or do you think possibly there was something else involved that he can't say publicly because he's under contract with Fox? And what's your thoughts on that? Don't it seem like it's more than alcohol? That maybe he may have experimented with something, maybe mixed it with something? Because it seems really bizarre, man. Just by what I told you, and the fact that he's close to our age, we know how good of opportunity that is to get the call games,
Yeah, and here's my take on this.
Yeah.
First off, look at his history for just a moment. This is a guy that played at USC, had every opportunity that he could have in college. He had the best facilities. He had the best trainers, meal prep, dietitian, everything. Okay. So he's had so many years of expectations of what he thought he was supposed to have in his life.
Mm-hmm.
In one instance, and I don't know if this has happened, if this is something that he normally does or if he doesn't normally do.
Yeah.
But who in the hell runs wind sprints in a parking lot?
Right. Not unless you're hammered and acting a fool. I've been that hammered before, but not at that age, not at our age now. He's close to our age. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Plus, you're on the road. Now, Aqib Talib was on former cornerback. He's kind of
guy's nuts, too.
You know who Talib is, right?
Yeah, okay. Kid from Kansas. Yeah, old guy.
Yeah. Good memory. His brother got in an incident where he shot a guy for a Pee-wee game. Supposedly he was there and he instigated it. That was supposedly. He was saying, you call these games, man. Shoot, you get there Thursday, the game ain't till Sunday. You got all that dead time. Shoot it. He said, I got in trouble. I got $100,000 a sue for a guy I punched a cab driver. I'm like, well, you're crazy, Yeah. But a former quarterback is not supposed to act like that. Maybe, like you said, we don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's had a problem and he's just hit it really well. I like that. I like his analysis. I really hate the fact that he did this, but he supposedly beat this guy pretty good. I saw the photos, man. It didn't look good. And then, of course, the guy stabbed him to get him off of him. The guy's my dad's age, my parents' age. Yeah. It's a crazy story, man.
It's really odd. Make this stuff up. And I don't like to cast aspersions or kind of, prognosticate of what happened, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a he said versus he said instance. And there's going to be a courtroom full of jurors that are going to have to make a decision, possibly, on exactly what happened. I think that if Sanchez wailed on him, or vice versa, which I don't see happening, but if Sanchez wails on him, nothing happens, I think the guy gets paid off and everything's much ado about nothing and everything moves on. The fact that he got stabbed, I really feel like this is going to probably see its day in court, because there is too much on the line with Sanchez getting stabbed by this guy. This guy's not going to take a plea deal at this point because he's claiming self-defense, saying that Sanchez's look in his eye was he was going to kill this guy. And that's why he pulled the knife in the first place. So that right there tells me that this is not going to be a scenario where he gets paid off. And if he does, this thing's going to be like 8 figures.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be some generational wealth type stuff where this guy is going to be able to support his family, kids' family, grandkids' family for a long time.
Yeah. 69 years old, delivering cooking grease to a restaurant on a Friday night. And like Adam Carolla said, I listened to him. He said, man, his wife come out like a bandit on this deal. Because, and he's also suing Fox Sports. Do you think he survives and keeps his job at Fox?
It depends on exactly how long this plays out through the legal process. If this is something that goes to court next summer, maybe, then I think that he probably stays on for the rest of this season. And then depending on how the situation in the courtroom looks, he may be on suspension or they may have him on leave for a little while. And then whatever happens. If it comes out where he is exonerated, then at that point, they're going to probably bring him back on. But if not, then he'll probably be gone from Fox for good.
Yeah. And I've been reading through TMZ that there's a possibility there's supposedly some video of this. And if it looks like he's just beating the crap, they could fire him then. If it looks really bad to PR, the Fox could fire him, and they'll probably settle with this guy. I just hate the situation, but then again, maybe he's been doing this before, or as far as like getting hammered and acting a fool. Or my guess is, this is just my opinion, being on a media show, that he may have did something else. Like he may have tried some synthetic marijuana. Who was it? I forgot who it was. Was it Chandler Jones, who's the player for the Patriots that tried some synthetic marijuana back in 2016?
Yeah.
He went to the police station. He's acting erratic and he's paranoid. And
I remember that.
Yeah. So, or maybe he was taking some medication. He drunk on it. Probably wasn't supposed to drink on it, and he had some kind of reaction. Or my man Jeremy Ballrick said maybe he's on the juice. That could be too,
must have been some killer pre-workout.
Yeah. I mean, so what shows are you on now? You're still with Pig Trail, right?
Yep, I am. I write their prediction column each week. I've actually pulled back a little bit as far as the podcasting goes, and you're going to probably be extremely surprised to hear this, but since the 1st of August, this is the second podcast that I've been on.
Dang, brother. Well, you're just a busy guy, sounds like.
Yeah, well, it is. And I've got some new responsibilities with my kiddo that I've really dove into as far as fundraising goes, and helping with her high school band, and helping with making sure, kiddos are getting food before football games and before marching competitions, and helping fundraise. She is 15.
Wow.
And so it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great kids.
Amen, too, brother. My friend's son he's 15 and he plays high school football. She is just ecstatic. And this team is really good down here, Oakland High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They played against Blackman a couple of Fridays ago. Blackman in Murfreesboro is where Jawan Jennings for the 49ers.
Yeah.
It's big high school football down there.
Yeah.
So they're playing, and she's so ecstatic just going through the process with him and helping out. So I can kind of say, I don't have kids. I'm still holding out hope, but I better get started eventually. I'm going to run out of time. But brother, hey man, that's awesome, man. So you still do that? Anything else you need to plug? Is that you just write for Pig Trail and that's it for right now?
For right now, but I got a couple of things on the horizon that are going to be coming up. And anytime you want to, and I'm going to tell you something real quick before we get out of here. Keep an eye on Razorback basketball.
Okay.
Coach Cal has got a squad this year.
Yeah, you said for you to come on, or you need one of your friends?
Nope.
For you
this guy.
Talk? Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm able to now. And
brother. Yes.
With Coach Cal's schedule now, Arkansas will be playing between SEC and out of conference. They will be playing all the teams that were in the Elite Eight last year.
I like the way they played in the tournament. It seems like that gave him a punch that he needed. I think he needed a change of scenery, and it really did help him. I really do. I'm not saying that because you're on there. Let's look the way they played in the tournament last year.
Yeah. He's got a squad. He's got Nick Pringle that he brought over from South Carolina, shoring up a little bit of that underneath.
Yeah.
That was one of the big bugaboos, was rebounding last year for that squad until NCAA tournament kind of came around. But now he's got some stellar guard play. He's got some guys that have came back that did not go pro. And, I know Adu Thero he's playing for the Lakers now. Here's the crazy part. He's got two guys that were behind Adu Thero and also Nelly Davis that are stepping into these roles that might be better than them.
Man, college basketball is really, it's taken a big jump. It was so good last year. That was the best tournament I've seen in years.
Yeah, it was great.
Even the SEC tournament. I'll drive the Uber for the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I met a high school coach that was going here for the tournament. I had him on the program. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's from St. Louis, and he was talking up Florida. He predicted Florida. I thought Florida would make it. I thought Duke would beat them. But, with this NIL going on the way it is, it's like semi-pro, man.
Yeah. And what's really crazy.
Real semi-pro.
Well, here's the crazy part now. Did you see, and I'm not sure if you saw this, but a couple of weeks ago, kids that are in the G League that never had a two-way or I think it's an option 10 or option 13 contract where they go to the pros for a little bit and then come back. If they have not stepped foot on a hardwood court or had a pro contract and they're still in the G League and they haven't termed out of the NCAA's rules, they can transfer into a college.
Nice. I love it. For guys that love college baskbasketball, this feels even better than the 90s. And I thought the 90s were like a heyday, man, between Duke, Kentucky.
You got your blue bloods right now. And, man, I'm going to tell you what. Florida, they've got Boogie Fland that transferred from Arkansas. It's like there's a lot of parity that's going to be in the SEC this year. And what's going to be
good too. I mean,
there's going to be 3 or 4 good teams.
Remember, Kentucky beat Duke last year before they started getting injured. Remember, early in the season. So it's going to be a great league, man. I can't wait.
I think what's going to make this league really good is that you're going to have 3 or 4 teams that are going to be really, really, really good. I'm talking like top 5, top 10 elite level talent, top to bottom in that roster that starts or plays. And then you're going to have a few teams kind of sit in the middle, and then you're going to have your bottom dwellers. But what always makes a great conference is you have 3 or 4 teams that are stellar. And I think that's what the SEC is going to be this year.
Yeah. Game day is going to be down there a lot, I would imagine. Yeah. Jason Patterson, everybody. Appreciate it. Hold on, I'll give you a sound off since a happy birthday, Chief, if I can get it right here. Brother, congratulations to your daughter. Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks so much, Robert. Take care.
Buddy. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with the Mad New Yorker. We will pick that Red River Rivalry game. Thanks again. If you like the show, please share the show. We got to build this thing up, everybody. Have a good night, everybody.